Surviving Reality contains explicit content full of snark and sarcasm that may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Surviving Reality.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Carly. And this is Welcome to Plathville, Season 8, Episode 1, Practice What You Preach.
It's the first week of 7 Little Plathvilles, because if you're subscribed for our 7 Little Johnstons content, yes, Welcome to Plathville came back, and now they are running concurrently. So if you're looking for the Johnstons episode, it comes out tomorrow, so just heads up on that.
They both air on Tuesday nights.
Air on Tuesday nights, so yeah, we had to split it up.
Tuesday nights on TLC, you should be very busy.
Jam-packed with stuff to watch. Plenty of narcissists to analyze.
I can't wait.
All the given points.
Kim returns to the family farm to create her forever home, while Ethan struggles to start over in Georgia. Newlyweds Lydia and Zac finally confront the Plath family about issues that hurt them leading up to their wedding day.
Okay, so we start off with a confronting Kim segment. Right
Love
out the
it.
gate. Well, and also,
Here for it.
Not just Kim, because, we have to make sure we hold everybody accountable.
The men in particular.
The men in particular, I would say. The men that Kim raised, though. So,
Barry, too. Although Barry would like us to forget that.
Barry would like to absolve himself of this, of all wrongdoing, like most enablers do. He is ready to be hands off and say, well, I did the right thing. And then rub everybody else's nose in the mess here.
Yeah, I do think he views it as though the home was Kim's domain, and all of the issues that the kids have expressed have connected back to things that were her responsibility. So he thinks he's getting away scot-free.
Yeah, my thing was just like God and income. Like, I think those were the only things that Barry assumes any responsibility for. Mm-hmm. And that's about it. Yeah, that's all he's looking to provide for the support here.
Well, let's give everyone a little bit of background on this show in case you're just jumping in on season 8.
Yeah, there's 7 seasons. I mean, they started off with a pretty good overview because when they went back, it was old footage, guys. I'm talking season 1 stuff where I was like, how far back are we going with this?
Yeah, if you don't watch anything else, I suggest you watch season 1 just so you can see what this family was originally like, because it's a pretty far departure from where we started.
Yeah, and I mean, we didn't cover some of the stuff. Like, you got the basics of what you need to know to get you caught up to speed based on the drama that's unfolding for season 8. There's a lot in there, too, because we didn't even mention, like, Olivia as any of that stuff. Ethan's ex-wife, kind of in the process of being ex-wife, not official. They haven't done that paperwork shuffle yet.
No, not as time of this filming.
At the time of yeah. So, well, that's just there's a lot of other parts, because then that was the whole other thing too. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, Mariah and Micah's whole storyline with all of their issues with the parents. And then coming back into the fold now as like part of that system again. It's bizarre. It's weird to see it when you're going that far back and then dropping in on season 8. So, okay, overview. If we're talking way, way at the top here, just to get everybody on the same page.
So the Plaths grew up on a family farm, very isolated from the outside world. There was no music other than like religious music, hymns, things like that. Classical music they were allowed to listen to.
Yeah, spiritual music that you're allowed to listen to.
No TV, nothing like that.
No, yeah. Very sheltered, right? It was
extremely sheltered.
It was seen as no sugar. The diet was very restrictive as well. No sodies.
It was a very controlling environment, is pretty much an overview of it.
Yes, and it was mostly at the behest of Kim from the onset. I think Barry really got a kick out of it too, even though he doesn't want to admit it. He doesn't want to admit it, but he liked all the control.
I don't know. Yes, yeah.
I think he did.
He did. He got his kombucha.
Yeah,
he got to go to work.
He got to cheat and do stuff outside the house and leave the farm. And everybody else stayed home. And it was like, yeah, that was good. He liked that.
Mm-hmm.
But then that's the thing. When you have kids and then they like grow up.
They become autonomous human beings who can make their own decisions.
Well, most of them do. Most of them should. You should. Not all of these ones did.
Well, that's what we watched happen, though, in the early episodes of this show, is that they're all coming to an age where they're like seeing that they're about to be able to embrace freedom for the first time. And then they go out in the world and the baby birds fell out of the nest and quickly returned back.
Yeah, some of them a little more bruised and broken than others, but like,
One in particular,
who is just perpetual baby bird now. We'll let you guess who that is, probably.
And most of the drama revolved around Ethan's wife, Olivia, because she was not the first outsider to marry into the family, because there's also an older sister, Hosanna, who has nothing to do with the show. Never seen her husband.
She's been at family stuff in the peripheral, and I think
background.
she was at like Lydia's wedding and stuff, but like
she
never
doesn't
films.
film for the show.
Does not film for the show. We haven't heard her speak on camera. She doesn't, provide any insight into any of this. So they just pretend like she doesn't exist. So do we, I guess.
Well, and she moved far away. She moved to Ohio. So it's kind of like she wasn't part of the family dynamic anymore.
Right.
Not to the extent that Olivia was, because Olivia moved to Cairo, where the rest of the family was.
Now, we have to be careful, because sometimes we say Lydia and sometimes we say Olivia, and then sometimes we flip them and flop them. And when we get talking and we get going here, I don't know if I'm going to catch all of those. So, yeah, we're talking about...
We shouldn't have too many Olivia mentions anymore, because she's not on the show now.
We shouldn't.
They can't get her name out of their mouths.
But... So here's the thing, was like for the first few seasons, they blamed Olivia for everything. Everything that was wrong in the family, it's because Olivia's driving a wedge. And that's the whole reason here for it. And it's because Ethan is rebelling against his parents by getting married and moving out into his own house with his own wife. This is wild.
With their own opinions about how they're going to have their own family.
Of how to navigate the world now, because we didn't really give you much practice at that. So good luck. And there you go. So that became Olivia's responsibility to teach Ethan everything about the world, which was a pretty heavy lift. It's a lot.
Also for someone who really didn't know a whole lot about the outside world.
She was also raised in a similar environment, and that was how they met and courted, of course, because you got to court. You got to court. That's the way to do it.
Via letters.
Yeah. Well, not talking on the phone.
Phone calls were even like a little too salacious.
Yeah, the phone shanty wasn't built yet. So they had to just commune by letter there, I guess. But yes.
So they did their best driving Olivia out of the family, and it finally worked.
They blamed her for everything. She got fed up. Plus, Ethan's toxic as fuck. And so it was just like, okay, yeah, I think that's it, basically.
I've had enough.
All done. I'm good now. So she moved on, and in the process, Micah had a girlfriend, Veronica. She became the scapegoat because she was kind of similar, outspoken sort of point of view here.
But different.
Different, though.
She had her own flavor of crazy from the Plaths.
And it did not mesh well with the Plath flavor of crazy. So this was not a complimentary sort of approach to this.
It was fun to watch, though.
It was very entertaining. That blew up at the end of last season. So that was as part of Lydia's wedding. There was a whole fist fight that broke out between Isaac and Micah. And it all revolved around the disrespect that Veronica was throwing around in the family. So this was the build-up. Everybody gets to pin all of their problems and any of their unresolved issues or feelings that they've had
on another woman.
They get to pin it on another woman before they boot her out of the family. And so that's basically what happened. Micah was like, hey, I'm breaking up with her anyway. So if you guys have any other qualms, go ahead and blame Veronica for those because she's on her way out. Okay?
And then we'll all be good again.
And then we'll be good. We can reset.
Except the whole family's not good again, because while all that was happening, Lydia quickly got engaged to Zac, and they had a wedding at warp speed. They were married in February.
Yes, they were. They knew each other for what, 2 months, 3 months, and then they were getting married in like 4 months. So they haven't even known each other for a year at the time of getting married.
Correct.
So it was very fast, very sudden, and this is alarming because there are several other people. Oh, because Mariah's a train wreck when it comes to relationships too. She's had tumultuous breakups, and everything falls apart because she's not doing what God told her to, or something. Probably.
We haven't really figured Mariah out yet.
I don't think Mariah has either.
No.
Definitely not. So Mariah's got a whole bunch of other issues going on with that too. She tries to be friends with people, and then as soon as there's an issue, she cuts off contact because she doesn't know how to conflict resolve anything. So as soon as there's a bump in the road, she's just like, oh, that's not a person that I should be around ever again. Basically.
Yeah. So the culmination of that was the family ruining Zac and Lydia's wedding for them.
Yeah, pretty much. Even though Lydia was like, I'm going to bulldoze over all these feelings right now because, like, I have to get married. Like, this is happening. And so she was just kind of like, let's back burner this. Let's table this. And then we'll figure everything out at a later date, which it seems like this is the later date.
Yeah,
this
8 months later.
It took her 8 months, which she's not ashamed of that. I like Lydia this season.
Me too.
I'm here for Lydia.
I'm loving the new attitude.
Yes.
Something about this relationship with Zac has, I think, made her more confident in herself, and her ability to express herself has improved greatly.
So on one of those interviews that was like 85 episodes long, podcasts that Lydia and Zac went on after they got married, and they were talking about how great Zac's family is. I think Lydia is realizing a lot of the flaws in her family by seeing the opposite of that, the support, the acceptance, just the different experience of being accepted into Zac's family versus how her family has treated Zac.
Now, that's interesting because when we talk about Ethan and Olivia's relationship, Olivia really had no relationship with her family because she had backed away from them because they were similar to the Plaths in a lot of ways. So the only family they had was Ethan's family. So I just think that's an interesting difference between Lydia, becoming part of Zac's family and seeing how they function. And I mean, we don't know much about them, but it seems like they must function better than the Plaths do.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like they are at least able to talk about their feelings, talk about emotions, process through things, conflict resolve. So there's a lot of things that are just keeping other people's feelings in mind, like those types of things.
They're maybe a little more emotionally mature.
There's a lot of empathy. So if Lydia, we kind of talked about this before, it seems like she's on that path. Some of the things that she said in this episode, she's making those connections. She's making that realization of like, I think she's feeling acceptance, seen, heard. There's a lot of positive experiences that she's having by joining into Zac's family, and that is only highlighting all of the things that her family has lacked in her entire life.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting to see how that is kind of taking shape here as we get started. But where do we start? At the beginning of this episode?
How about one of the biggest problems, her mother, Kim?
Yeah, let's start there because Mumspringa is over.
It's done. It's officially done. It took a number of years. It did take Lydia raising her sisters.
Yes.
And finishing their educations with them. But she has moved back to the family farm now that her divorce with Barry is finalized.
So she's not in that super expensive rental. We don't have to have a sob story about how finances are so tight and she's still waiting for these payouts, which that was bullshit, right? Last season.
So I went and looked up all the property records for all of the houses and that random business downtown that they owned as well. That was her dance studio.
Oh, yeah. The the dance studio with the
apartment above
the
it.
apartment above it.
I was hoping to see maybe how they divided their assets in the divorce, but all of those properties are still owned by both Kim and Barry, or at least that's what the property records say at this point. Some of them say Kim's maiden name, but some of the other ones still say Plath, and that they're co-owned by Barry and Kim.
Okay, so we had a theory that they didn't actually get divorced. Like, this was just part of the show, and that they would reconvene at a later time, perhaps?
So you think Barry's into being a cuck?
I don't know necessarily now. Like, I think that there is actual disdain. Most of the
you see it.
interactions that we see now.
But there's also still this weird tension between them.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's strangely sexual.
Well,
that's my opinion.
Okay, I would say the added layer of complexity here is because Barry got hot.
Yes.
From the neck down, at least. Because
he got swole at the gym. It's all he does.
He corrected what he could correct, what he had the ability to change at this point, because he's still very turtly.
I like his new glasses.
Okay.
You know, we went from the very like rectangular square glasses, which like we're not jiving with the very oval face.
Yeah.
To these are a little rounder now.
Okay. Stick him with some Harry Potter glasses, and then that'll keep him occupied.
A book I'm sure these kids were allowed to read.
No.
I know.
Witchcraft. Wizardry. Sins. The big twist.
I want to talk about the properties.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't think that Kim ever lived in that rental full time that she was complaining about how much money it cost her. I think she only lived in that when they were filming the show.
Yes.
She lived with Ken because some of those properties, the little shack that Veronica was not a big fan of that they stayed in overnight last season.
Where Lydia was proposed to. Zac did the proposal.
Yeah. So that one had Ken's address listed as like the owner's, it's like Kim's name, and then it was Ken's address in Florida.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So if you're sending like your, I don't know, property information, all the tax stuff for your property to Ken's address, I'm assuming you probably live with Ken.
Yeah, I think that's a safe assumption, because she definitely wasn't living on that boat. That was a whole other thing too. So that wasn't last season. That was the season prior. Mm-hmm. That was 6, right?
Yeah.
6 was the boat season.
I think she realized that living on the boat maybe wasn't the best for the custody discussions that they were having as part of the divorce.
Just general safety precautions.
Yeah. Plus the boat didn't start.
Boat didn't run. Yeah. Blowers didn't work. So now we know.
So she's back on the farm.
Back on the farm with not just her. It's her and the girls is half the time, some of the time, because share custody with Barry. But also, KK Ken moved in and put his own special country bumpkin spin on the home decor here.
Yeah, I think they had to hide some of the stuff that he normally has out.
You think there's a little bit too much folk art?
Yes.
That's,
Yeah, some Civil War relics.
Oh, okay, yeah. Not so good.
The Confederate side.
Right.
Of course.
Yeah.
KK Ken's extremely racist, in case you didn't pick that up from the nickname we've assigned him.
Yes. He
and
sold his house.
Xenophobic and all the things.
All those things. All those things.
And he likes to post about it on Facebook. He's very proud of it.
Yeah. He's a proud boy.
He used to be Isaac's flight instructor and was a friend of the family, and that's how Kim met him.
I don't like that Kim put that on Isaac, where she was like, you introduced us. And it's like, I didn't know that you were going to date him.
I was a child.
Yeah, and I was just going for flight.
Trying to learn a hobby that would turn into a career path.
A skill set, a life skill that I could turn into, something. But no, I didn't expect you to hook up with my flight instructor. That wasn't really on my agenda. Didn't have that listed out. So I don't like that we always assign that to Isaac, as much as I don't like him in the more recent seasons now. But that was always one thing where I was like, don't put that evil on him.
Did you feel confused when they were showing us the inside of the house? Because I couldn't tell what room we were in and what room it used to be, because it all just looks so different.
Yeah, it's like the jukebox is throwing me off, right?
Yeah, maybe it's a lot of Ken stuff.
It's a lot of Ken stuff, definitely. And we've seen the inside of Ken's house because that was where they did Plath family band rehearsal at one point, where I think that was Lydia and Mariah and Kim.
Yeah, the log cabin house.
The log cabin house.
Which, by the way, he put up for sale, and it looks like it never sold, much like the Plath's house.
Oh.
The White House that they were living in.
Yeah.
I think that Barry is still living in, potentially.
Okay. Yeah.
We haven't seen where he's
the
at
one
yet.
that Blackjack destroyed that primary bedroom for sure before Mariah dipped out to Montana.
Yeah, that thing's been up for sale for over a year.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder if that's why Kim's living at the farm, because if they did really finalize the divorce and everything, I'm sure they have to sell that house as part of it.
Right.
And it hasn't sold. So if she's going to have her 50% of whatever sold from the house, is she going to move into another house? She's going to have to live in one of their properties.
That's not going to work. That's not going to be good.
Because I don't think he gave her the farm.
I don't think he gave her the farm. Well, and then that's the thing, too.
And he wants us to know that because he's showing up here whenever he wants.
Yes, he has to remind her that this is also his property, too. Mm-hmm. And I think that they moved into that because the rental interest for the Plath family farm has been waning. So they haven't really been needing to rent it out.
The wedding last season didn't really increase event sales or anything.
They blocked it off for that, summer because they had to get ready for Lydia's wedding, and they just still haven't recovered, probably. Haven't got back to their normal numbers. So Kim's like, well, I'll just squat here, I guess.
That's what she's doing.
That's what she's doing.
Mm-hmm. And they have plenty of room for her to park her boat, which is now Micah's boat, apparently.
Micah bought the boat. But then Barry just comes over and stands on it and has his Titanic moments every once in a while. Just whenever he needs to. You just got to get that out of his system every once in a while.
He just likes to keep Kim on her toes.
I think so.
Yeah. You never know when I may be here.
It's very Slender Man of him. Yeah. It's just he pops up. He sidles up. You don't see him. You don't hear him. He's just there. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, he's always got to keep you on your toes here. But that's what Kim was warning about, too. She's like, I don't know. If Barry keeps popping up unexpected, like, he might see some stuff that he doesn't want to see either. Kim and her natural element here. I don't want to think about that too hard.
Neither do I.
No.
I don't want to know what's under the skirt.
The
woman loves a skirt.
She really does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The other siblings, thriving. Not really.
Jury's out. Jury's out.
Ethan is still not divorced. We mentioned that. He's complaining again about how, he dragged his feet and incorrectly filled out the paperwork for their divorce originally. But now he's very upset that Olivia hasn't taken all the steps needed to get everything done because he wants to get divorced ASAP.
I don't know how to read and I don't know how to write. So still not divorced.
I'm really not looking forward to that impression coming back.
Even though, he's back, but then he still has to blame Olivia for all of his shortcomings because they're like, oh, well, how's your big booby girlfriend Tegan doing, though? Because, you were really excited about that last season. And
you were.
Like, funny you should bring it up because it's been really rough for me. It's been really rough for me.
Tegan broke up with him.
I kept saying I was going to move to Wisconsin, and I didn't.
Do we think that was it? Or maybe was it seeing him throw all the outdoor tables at Lydia's wedding and act like, a crazy rage-filled monster that maybe scared her off a little bit?
Yeah, maybe the anger management that was on display for a lot of those things of not being able to process through his emotions at all. And then we don't even know what was going on. Yeah, like what she experienced on the other side of that too. So it's just like, I don't know. I think a lot of it was him probably saying that he was going to move there, but we knew he was going back to Cairo.
Yeah.
As soon as he stepped foot in Georgia again, it was like, oh, yeah, this dude's not going anywhere. He's right where he wants to be.
He was waiting until she caved and was like, fine, I'll move to Cairo.
Yes. I think he was holding out on that dream, and then that never came to fruition. And so, because Tegan's got a kid and she shares custody.
Oh, he doesn't care about that.
That's up. Yeah, that's her family is up in Wisconsin. And so she's not moving to Cairo. Because, yeah, you're not going to be able to move this kid out of the state
I
to
guess
go
we'll
live with
see,
Ethan.
because we saw she's in the previews for this season, so she comes back at some point.
She does, yeah. So I don't know if they're just rekindling. Ethan has dropped down to just normal subscriber levels for her OF, and so it's not the same, you know. He doesn't have full access.
He doesn't get
anymore.
those direct messages anymore.
Yeah,
he's got to pay for them.
The attention, that direct communication. It's like the interaction. Yeah, I missed that. Right? He's realizing this now, because that was Veronica's big accusation all last season, was that Tegan has an OF, even though it's probably just Ethan distributing nudes to his siblings, which is grosser,
totally possible,
grosser than the alternative, because yeah, that's just messed up. Anyway, that's what Ethan's doing. What's Micah been up to?
Micah and Veronica, they did officially split. It stuck. They didn't get back together.
Like Micah's nose at Lydia's wedding.
Which has healed nicely.
It did, honestly, for not having plastic surgery.
He was very lucky that whoever was in the ER that day stitched him up very well.
Because most of the time, if it's the ER, they're just like, hey, get this thing back together and make sure it doesn't open back up. They're not really thinking about the aesthetics of it and doing all that. You're just kind of at the whim.
You got to pay extra for that.
Well, yeah.
You're worried about how your face is going to look afterwards.
Yeah. Like, we're just trying to get it functional here and stop the problem that's happening here, where now you have like a dog nostril that's just opened up here. It was gross. It was terrible.
So I guess good news for Isaac. He gets to keep all his peanuts.
Good. He's saving those peanuts.
It's going to cost him a lot to fix Micah's nose.
It's going to be a big problem.
What is up with Micah, though?
Micah.
A couple of the shots that they showed of him, like, he just looks ragged.
His hair's real long, so I think that's probably throwing us off.
Yeah, I feel like as time has gone on, he has gotten increasingly less attractive.
I think it's because he spends so much time outdoors. This is just sun damage is what it's coming down to.
You think he's catching up with them?
Yeah, he's like aging like an old leather shoe is what's happening. And now with like the mop top, it's I don't think it's doing him any favors, because now his hair's all like crispy and burnt.
Straw.
Yeah, it's straw hair. So it's just, that's not adding to the aesthetic.
No, I think his modeling days are done.
Yeah, I think he kissed those goodbye, especially with the nose thing too. Now it's like, yeah, you got scars up there. We're not doing close-up work anymore.
I think they can Photoshop scars.
Yeah, but they don't want to do that. They don't want to do touch-up. That costs extra. That's post.
He found another woman to move in with. That's kind of his thing.
He's a hobosexual. We've established that.
He finds a woman in Florida who has an established career and home of her own, and then he just lives on her couch.
Yeah. And then cheats on her, and then continues on with that.
Does work around the house.
Yeah, he earns his keep in different ways, either through landscaping or sexual favors. But he does, you know.
Do you think we'll meet this woman? Because he's acting like he's going to keep it private, even though that is exactly what he said was going to happen with Veronica when Veronica didn't want to film.
He was right.
And then he begged her to film.
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking now, is that Micah has learned the lesson that, it's filming. Filming is the issue. So, like, if I have a girlfriend...
Just don't put her on the show.
Don't put her on the show. That's the problem. And it's like, no, dude, it's because she's going to get pulled into this crazy toxic family system, and then she's going to start getting blamed for stuff. Because it's going to be, you have to choose between your loyalty to your family or your loyalty to your girlfriend. And that's always what the decision's going to come down to, because that's how the family system is set up. So I think he's blaming it on the show right now. And so he's trying to avoid that by saying, oh, yeah, we're going to keep it on the DL. We're not going to have cameras. It's not going to be not the same mistake that I did last season here.
Yeah,
So
that was totally it.
Learned that lesson. and we're going to do it the right way now.
I will say, Veronica acted like she was very hesitant to be on this show, and then she really embraced the spotlight.
Yes. She used it to her advantage at the end, because I think she realized, oh, this family's messed up.
Yeah.
And then
she knew she was done with that relationship a lot earlier than the end actually happened.
A lot earlier.
She used their own show to try to embarrass them, but simultaneously embarrassed herself.
She definitely embarrassed herself. She showed her ass on the way out, for sure. But I feel like we were rewatching Lydia's wedding episodes last night to kind of set the mood, get us geared up for the premiere here. And so it was like those little aside interview things and her commentary where it was like the decor around. Maybe that's why Kim felt the need to have KK Ken come in and decorate now, because Veronica made fun
criticized
of it.
The decor in the house.
Yeah, there was like the flower, the farmhouse decor was being mocked and ridiculed. Where she
threw everything out and started over.
She threw everything out and was like, "Here, bring in the jukebox, bring in the tricycle. What was that on the dining room table? I don't know. It was feeling more like an Applebee's in there.
It really is. It was even more so when they lived at his house and he had the wooden walls.
Yeah. So I think that was where this was going, is where it's just like, eventually, is that what it is? Bennigan's? What's the vibe? What are we going for here?
They're going to be selling dollar shooters up in there. Kim would love that.
Oh, yeah.
Mariah is back. She's still living in Montana, so she moved out there and she hasn't come home yet.
We thought she was just out for rehab. We thought.
Yeah.
Maybe she's not done yet. Maybe she's not. Maybe this is like a live-in facility for a little while.
I hope so. I think she needs it.
I really hope so.
Yeah. But she's coming back creepier than before because she's speaking in a Gypsy Rose whisper.
Oh, yeah. She's gone up a few octaves and is trying to remain, as neutral as possible, but not like new Gypsy Rose, not out of prison Gypsy Rose. I mean, like peak abuse Gypsy Rose.
Yeah.
Like that's the voice.
Yeah.
That
and
she's
she brought
with.
The wigs.
And the wigs. I forgot about the Gypstein files. Yeah, there's a lot of wigs in there, you guys. A lot of characters.
Yeah. So Mariah is building her own collection because she's still got alopecia. Mm-hmm. She's lived with that her whole life. That was a big reveal that they had for us a couple of seasons ago.
Right, yeah.
And at this point, she's lost like all of her hair, including her eyebrows, her eyelashes. So she's wearing wigs and using like stick-on eyebrows.
Yeah.
Which, can I tell you, I am very impressed by the eyebrows.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the producers didn't even believe her when she told them, too. Yeah. She's like, I don't know, I just randomly found these online and stuck them on my face. I
mean, we've seen a lot of jacked up eyebrows on TLC.
Yeah, plig lash. A lot of plig lash.
And these are better than most that we see naturally growing on people's faces.
And that's the nicest thing that we can say about Mariah. Okay.
I'm really over the broken bird thing.
I don't know. I don't know about this. I'm still waiting on an album. I'm still expecting that. Yeah. She doesn't know her Spotify login.
What is she doing to support herself other than being on this show?
I think this is it.
And then running off to Montana and hiding.
And then months. I think she does bartending or, just like little odd jobs here and there.
I hope we see more of what's going on in her life because last season we didn't.
We did not. She just kind of went to Montana, disappeared off the face of the earth. Didn't really know what was going on, which made us think maybe there is a little something to that. Maybe there's another element here that's in play, recovery.
I mean, she seems like she's struggling with a lot.
Yeah, especially at that time, too. Mm-hmm. When she was moving out, there was like a whole lot going on.
I mean, these people did a number on her.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we state that.
Yeah, okay. I mean, like, I get it, but also there is like there's the responsibility that comes into that too. Because I think it's looking at it as you see like Mariah's way of dealing with it, where she just kind of tried to do things on her own, didn't really like the way that went, made all these mistakes that she claims are, things that she deserves because only bad things happen to her and that's what she deserves. And then she just kind of comes back home, turns off her brain, and then lets everybody else tell her what to think now. And so she's back into this. Like, she was the rebel. She was the one who was pushing back.
She had so much life in her.
Yeah.
That's been the hard thing, is watching that slowly be drained out of her.
The lights out.
The point that she's just a shell of a human being at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she's been involved in this toxic cycle of latching on to another person who then she uses to validate something that's going on in her life. And she uses them for that moment in time until she gets beyond whatever that thing is. And then she drops them and moves on to the next person.
Yeah, she has no self-reliance, no self-sufficiency, no self-worth.
Another one who's got a big problem with conflict.
Yes.
The minute that she senses that there's any kind of conflict, she runs away.
Right.
Because she's so worried that she's going to do something to harm another person.
Yeah.
Because she's convinced that there's something inherently wrong with her.
And that's all she does. She just hurts people. And if you're going to be around me, I'm going to hurt you eventually. And so if you stick around, it's your fault.
Yeah. I do have empathy for her because I think she's going to need years and years of therapy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You gotta do the work then to realize like, hey, this ain't normal. This ain't healthy. And like, this ain't working for me either. Like, how are my relationships going? How am I maintaining? How's my mental health? Like, not good. None of that. None of that's good.
And she's cut all these other people out of her life who she's blamed these things on.
Yeah.
But she continues to interact with her family. And it's like, this is part of the problem.
This is the problem.
When are you going to connect those dots?
Right. She was so used to being the scapegoat that she still just absorbs a whole bunch of stuff, even though nobody's really blaming her for things anymore. But she still just blames herself as like being a screw up.
Well, now it's not fun anymore.
Well,
it was fun when Mariah was doing things that were rebellious and that we could criticize her for.
Okay, yeah. Like
She's got no fight left in her.
Yeah.
So that's really sucked the enjoyment out of the experience for them.
Right. Yeah. Kim's just like, oh, there's no challenge in this.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fair. This isn't a fair fight.
I don't think Kim's worried about it being a fair fight.
Oh, we haven't heard the Kim laugh.
I'm worried. I feel like that was restrained because this is the
Oh.
first time we're doing it on video on Patreon. And I'm worried because I don't know what my face does to create that sound.
I don't know. I don't know either. It's a new lesson for all of us. But before we get into Lydia and Zac, who are just ecstatic, living their best life, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
These two are happy together. And that, for some reason, makes me happy.
This is good. I'm rooting for Lydia and Zac.
Me too.
Like, the more that I see of them together, it makes sense. I can't remember if we were nervous or apprehensive about it. It seemed like this was a fit, though. Because it's like, this is the way you raised Lydia to look for this guy. And she found him.
Mm-hmm.
And now, like, they're going to do life based on what they were expecting to happen now. Because it's just, everything is Jesus. Everything is religion. Everything is God. And it's
They're
us
totally
now.
aligned on that.
Yes. And they are like absolutely 100% in lockstep on that. So it's just like, okay, I mean, yeah, I could see this going the distance for sure. The only caveat that I'm going to throw in there, we do have the possibility of Lydia just blowing a gasket and totally flipping a switch at like 39 years old, where she's just going to be like, I didn't sign up for this.
Oh, you worry that at some point she's going to realize that she's just done things that she was told she should do her entire life?
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah. And that'll be like the breaking point for whatever happens there.
I mean, they're definitely still in a honeymoon period.
Yeah.
They haven't even really known each other a year.
They barely.
They've like just hit that.
They just sat down to be like, okay, great.
They've been married for 8 months and they've known each other for about a year.
But they're already family planning because, yeah, we've been having so much fun traveling and doing all these things. That's all great. And we'll still be able to travel with kids too. It'll just be fewer and farther between. It'll just make it more special, right?
Yeah, Lydia lives in a dream world.
I think so.
You know, I love that for her in some sense, that she just is unencumbered by worry of any sort.
We thought
that is quite the opposite of my life experience.
We thought we were still going to travel when we got Maisie, and it's like, hasn't happened. Well, I mean, that was also post-COVID, but like,
I can't imagine having a child. The dog is enough to keep me home.
I feel like the dog's different though. Like, I guess you could bring a human.
You can take a baby.
You can take a baby places where you can't take a dog.
Yeah, like you take a baby into a restaurant.
And I feel bad leaving Maisie for extended periods of time, where it's like, oh, well, that's what I feel bad about.
Me too, especially since I learned that dogs like understand time passing. Because at first I just assumed that they didn't really comprehend that.
Well, when she like lays down and goes to sleep and stuff, I think she's like, she doesn't realize how long she's been zonked out or whatever. Like,
no, but it makes me guilty to realize that they understand like days have passed and they haven't seen you.
Oh, like if we're like traveling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big drawback here.
But Zac and Lydia, I'm hopeful that their relationship will be different from Kim and Barry's relationship in a lot of ways. But like specifically, I hope that there's more equality in this relationship.
It seems like there is.
I mean,
so far.
Look, I think it's marginally better than where she came from.
Okay.
Because we don't know a whole lot. They say a lot of things that make me worry a little bit about what the future may look like.
Yes.
They definitely have a very traditional relationship.
Right.
And we'll see how that works out for them.
But I like their cute little modest apartment. It's just like,
they're living within their means. They know what they want in their life right now.
Baby's first apartment.
They're working towards future goals that they have together.
So I like that. I like all of those things where it's like, this is nice. This is good. We've carved out like a little life for ourselves here. And we're really enjoying that. Really enjoying that, actually.
Okay. I have a criticism here.
Uh-oh.
I feel like whenever we get overly religious people on TV talking about sexual experiences, that they speak about it in such a roundabout way because they don't want to use overt language, but they somehow make it even grosser.
Really?
Yes. When Zac said that he, watered the seed of curiosity for her.
I think he said not only planted, but also watered the seed of curiosity.
Yeah. Gross. I like shivered.
Didn't like that?
No.
But that'll keep the advertisers around because you can't say that. Yeah. I don't want to say it. Do I want to say it? Am I going to say it? How close are we? No. Okay. I think we're good on time. That you're fucking the shit out of her every night. You know, like it's what are you going to say what would make that better than watered the seed of curiosity? What would you want to hear Zac say in that moment instead?
I don't know. Maybe address the fact that you waited for that aspect of your relationship and that you're both really enjoying that. You're enjoying your sex life. You have a sex life.
Enjoying her carnally.
You're not gay, unlike her brothers believe.
Well, that's what I feel like the other side of this talk was about, where then now Ethan can watch this scene and jerk off and know that, like, yes, my sister is getting porked by my brother-in-law. Great.
And they both are enjoying it. He was worried about that too.
He was very concerned about what was going to be happening with Bumpin' Uglies. Like, yeah, that was top of the list for Ethan.
Such a strange thing to be worried about when you've just met this guy. There's so many other things to be worried about.
There's a lot of other questions that you could ask.
Your parents are in the process of a divorce after being married for many years. Like, there's a lot of things that you could have raised as red flags, but the thing you're worried about is what happens between the two of them when doors are closed.
And being upset that they're choosing not to kiss until they get married and stuff. And it was just like, that's just something that doesn't make sense to Ethan. So then he's projecting that onto Zac. Oh, if you're a straight guy and you don't want to kiss this beautiful girl, then what's wrong with you, basically? Mm-hmm.
It's because Ethan's red-pilled. Like, I think he's significantly gotten worse than when we first met him.
That doesn't help.
No.
I did think it was interesting, too, seeing Ethan where he was, like, way less angry now that he doesn't have a woman in his life. I think depressed Ethan is probably, like, the safest Ethan to be around.
You think he mellows out?
Yeah. He's, like, it goes, the anger and the rage goes to sadness instead.
I wonder if it's also that he's able to drink his feelings away without that being impeded by somebody else who doesn't like when he does that.
It's either that or it's, oh, I better not do this. Like, if he doesn't drink when he's depressed, like, he might drink because he's in a good spot. And, like, when he's...
I think that he just bottles a lot up when he's in a relationship.
Yes.
And now that he doesn't have to, like, think about how his actions are going to affect another person, maybe I don't think he's in a better place necessarily.
Yeah.
It's just that there's not another person to think about.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't really like that. He kind of finds that to be...
Well, he's real bad at that.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I think that's what...
An inconvenience to have to think about another person's feelings.
Yeah, because then that's what Lydia and Zac are realizing too, where they were like, oh, we've moved in together. Everybody was like, oh my gosh, moving in, that's going to be so hard. And it really hasn't been. Like, they haven't really had too many struggles with that. And it's like, yeah, because you're both, like, overly considerate people to each other in particular. So it's just like...
Overly considerate or people pleasers?
Yeah, I think so. I think people pleasing is a big part of it. I did like seeing Lydia with the counter clutter everywhere, though. It was like, oh, finally, like a human thing of her.
Something that's wrong with her.
Well, not like wrong, but just
like my Monica closet, you know?
Yeah.
Like she finally has something where it's like, oh,
relatable.
We're not always perfect.
Yes. Yeah. There was like something too squeaky clean about Lydia for all this time. And it's because she was trying to hold everything together. You don't have your mom as part of the divorce that your parents are going through, where you have to then pick up the slack and basically raise your younger siblings and stuff. And so it was just like all of those elements the past few seasons that we've seen of her, where last season we kind of got to see her say, hey, this is for me. I found a guy. I'm getting married. And like, she kind of started going down that route. And now to see it progress even further, where she's like, hey, I want to have a follow-up conversation with my family and talk about my feelings and how they ruined my wedding for me, basically, and like the hurt that came from that, because we need to address all of this, because I'm not able to just move past it and pretend like nothing happened. So that was an interesting shift too, because I don't think Lydia from even a few seasons ago, I don't think we would have had
she
that. She
wouldn't have said anything.
I don't think she would have said anything. I think she would have said, no, that's fine. To just, whatever makes you comfortable, great. You can, step right over me and do that as needed.
She would have tried to look at the positives of the things that did go right.
Right. And ignore
all the other stuff, or excuse it away for them.
Yeah.
So we are making progress. That part of her life.
The thing that she said was how her family has been saying basically they did everything out of they cared for her. There was concern for her well-being. And that was what all these terrible things that happened on that day were in relation to that. It's because they cared about her. And she was saying, well, in that care, all I felt was hurt. So just the verbiage and being able to like pin something down and express it in that way.
Yeah.
This is big progress.
Yeah, I like that she is able to identify that because nobody will ever say that they love each other in this family. They just keep saying it's because we care. But your version of caring and loving me hurts me.
Yeah, it's not good. So then what does that mean? That's where it's like an abusive, toxic cycle, because you're basically doing things to hurt me. And then you're telling me, oh, that's because I love you. That's not good.
No.
That's real bad.
That's very unhealthy.
Yeah.
I did also like that she positioned it as I have things to say. And I'm going to say them. Whereas I don't think they're really having the conversation from a place of like looking for anything from her family. It's more so wanting them to know how she feels about what they did.
I kind of wish they would have expressed that a little bit more than maybe. Because
during
I mean, like,
the conversation,
or like at the start of the conversation or something, because like, I mean, we do see them where, yeah, it's like the preparation, they're kind of dreading it, right? Like they're more so Lydia's nervous, and Zach's doing that people pleasing thing where he's like, oh, I don't even care that they did all these hurtful things to me. It's just, it bums me out that it makes Lydia sad when they do all these mean things to me, and that makes her sad. That's what's upsetting to me. I wouldn't even care, because like Zach's dealt with this his whole life. Like, I think that's been a conversation that's happened multiple times in his life.
Yeah.
He just
or behind his back or something.
Or behind his back.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, here we go again, you know, and like to experience that days, hours prior to your wedding, it's just like a real slap in the face, you know? And I think that was where it was kind of emphasized there.
The last we heard, they hadn't watched their wedding episode.
Right.
So I don't know if that changed or if everything that they're going to say is just based on what they've heard happened from other people.
Well, they heard stuff like when Kim and Ethan called them when they were on their honeymoon in Paris and were telling them all about how Isaac elbowed Micah in the face and split his nose open and stuff. And Lydia looked horrified at the end of last season, finding all this out, and was like, what is going on? Why are you telling me this, first of all?
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering if they ever actually watched the episode, or they just know what they witnessed in person, like Ethan throwing the tables around the day before the wedding. Obviously, the confrontation the night before they got married.
They didn't film that, and it sounds like that was way worse than what they were letting on about.
Oh, yeah. That's what I figured. When we saw it last season, they were talking about how basically everybody approached Lydia and tried to isolate her to have a conversation about how they felt about Zac when she's supposed to be getting married in the morning.
Yeah. So, like, that didn't go great. And there's a time and a place for stuff to happen. That wasn't good. They didn't bring things up. And also, it's been brought up multiple times because then Ethan was having individual conversations with her, bringing this stuff up too, and where she was like, no, he's a great guy. I wish you would get to know him more.
Which he then did not do.
And he chose not to, continued not to. So that's kind of like a recurring trend that we're seeing here as well, because even as everybody's gathering here at the farm, it's like the first time they've seen each other. It's like the only time they see each other is when the cameras are around to film.
That's the second or third time we've heard that.
Yes.
Yeah, these people do not interact as much when they're not filming the show.
No. So this is the first
weird
time. Yeah, like that. A lot of them are seeing each other again. And so, I mean, like that probably plays a part too, where it's just like, yeah, the last time we all were together, it didn't go great. And then now we're trying to sit down. What's the next thing, you know, that we're going to pretend like this didn't happen?
Kim is dreading the conversation because she knows, or at least she thinks, that they're going to expect an apology, and she doesn't really want to give them one because she doesn't feel like she did anything wrong by caring.
Oh, well, yeah, that's what she was saying was her preemptive conversation with the producers as they were like asking her about it, of this conversation as it's coming up with Lydia and Zac coming over. And she was like, oh, could we have done things better? Yeah, probably. So like, I'm sorry about that. But, and anytime there's a but in an apology, especially from Kim, you know, it's going to be full of shit here.
Also, I'm sorry, but we could have done things better or differently is the understatement of the century.
Yeah. And it's like, also, you could have done things differently had it not been for, like, everything that you guys did came from a place of your own insecurity. And then you threw that onto Lydia and Zac's relationship.
They took all of their shit and put it on Lydia.
Which is what they do. This is what this family does.
Where Ethan's like thinking about his relationship with Olivia and how it went wrong. And Isaac's thinking of that as well and feeling like this outsider ripped their family apart. And Kim's thinking about her marriage with Barry and feeling like he usurped her in a lot of ways. And her life went in a direction she didn't really want it to because she did what he wanted. That's all your own bullshit.
Oh, yeah. Everybody has their own individual stuff that then they're blaming Zac for it, or they're, you know, tentative, hesitant with Lydia making this decision, jumping into this preemptively based on their own insecurities with it.
Which also is the exact way that they raised her.
Yes.
That you court somebody for a very short period of time.
And you better get married.
You jump into getting married.
Yeah.
You don't kiss before you get married. She did all the things that they told her to do.
That's why Barry was so happy on the wedding day. He was like, oh my God, yes, this is perfect. This is exactly the way we drew it up.
Look at how she turned out under my leadership.
This was the plan all along. Yeah, like, this is going great. I don't think Kim was prepared for, like, based on what Lydia's saying, she's got beef with Kim. Like, the issues, a lot of this is with Kim, not with the siblings, even though the siblings did a number on each other, obviously, with Isaac rearranging Micah's face and whatnot. And then Ethan was completely out of control at several instances too. That's not even the stuff that she's really bringing up here. Like, the hurt that she experienced, most of it, she's tracing this back to Kim. And I don't think Kim's prepared for that confrontation or that conversation.
Kim has been scared of Lydia since she decided to leave Barry.
Oh, yeah.
I think she just feels the judgment coming out of her. And she knows that Lydia's right in a lot of ways.
Lydia became a truth teller in that. The way that Mariah used to be, where she would call out all the bullshit of the family, of the family system. And
hypocrisy.
The hypocrisy,
like
any of the stuff that doesn't line up, she would call attention to it and point it out. And that was what they did not like, because then that makes everybody else realize that things are a little off. Something's wrong here. And I think through Kim and Barry's divorce, Lydia then kind of went into that mode, but she doesn't say it as she won't call it out because she knows does not look good. Like, this does not look good for Kim.
No, that's why I feel like Kim thinks she's constantly being judged when she's around Lydia.
Okay. Yeah.
And that she can't be the new fun Kim that she likes.
Yeah.
She has to kind of revert back to
DUI Kim. She can't be.
She can't be DUI Kim.
She can't be fun
For
DUI
some
Kim.
reason, Lydia really didn't love Mom Springa DUI Kim, who left her saddled with 3 young children.
Right. Yeah. Something about that was just
left a chip on her shoulder.
Unpleasant for her. Did not like that. Do not recommend.
And it's just been building from there. You know, then she's living with Ken while she's still married.
Sin. Shame.
Shame on you, Kim.
Shame, Kim.
And she was really upset by a lot of the things that Kim had to say, where she's like, you don't even know me.
We talked about this. We talked about this during the wedding, because then that was the element here where I was like, uh-oh. If Lydia realizes this, because I think it was the colors of the wedding, where Lydia had said something about Hunter Green, of course, right? Or something like that.
That was what Kim told us.
Okay.
And that decision was usurped by
Blue.
Zac, who wanted blue.
But the bastard does look good in blue. Man, that bastard son of a bitch.
He pops in blue.
He pops. And that's why Ethan was so upset. Blue was his thing. It was gonna be till he took it. So, yeah, the way that Kim assigned this was that, oh, this is Zac just telling Lydia what to do. And it's like, okay, first of all, that is who you raised. You raised Lydia to be a subservient Christian wife to this man who she decides to marry. And so if that bothers you, maybe you should have done things a little bit different for the first 20 years of her life.
Yeah. I think there was a lot that happened that got her to the place that she is today, you know?
And honestly, like part of that conversation though too, Zac was like,
a lot of indoctrination.
Yeah. But Zac was so confused by that too. Cause he's like, I didn't say blue. Like we're doing blue as the color. That's it. Not up for debate. No discussion. It was, I like blue. What do you think? And it was opening that up for, I want it to be, it's our wedding day, you know, like
well,
it was
Lydia
open for
even
discussion.
said, she was like, I don't even know the color hunter green.
So like, where did that come from?
So I don't really know where my mom got that from.
How did we get stuck on that? I don't know. But also it just highlights the deficiency of this relationship between Kim and Lydia. Kim doesn't know what Lydia wants. Mm-hmm. So she just assumes that, oh, this is different than what I had pictured for Lydia. So this must be
his influence.
Zac's vision of the wedding.
Is that not exactly what they did with Olivia?
Right.
Where any decision that Ethan made that was counter to what they thought Ethan would do, they decided it was Olivia's influence that got him to do that thing.
Anything that's wrong. Yeah, that's the blind spots, the sort of character type things. Because remember, that was from Barry. Because Barry's just as bad as Kim.
Yeah.
He's had some good seasons because he's been in support mode here. That does not absolve this man.
So I think that's the difference between Kim and Barry, is that Barry plays the long game. Kim is so distracted by everything else that's going on and like getting involved in petty fights that she is not thinking about how what she's doing is going to impact her relationships with these kids or what it's going to look like in the long run. Barry is always thinking about that. He's always thinking about perception.
He's playing chess. He's 4 steps ahead for sure. So get him on the traders, I guess, is what I'm saying or something.
We need a TLC season of the
version of the Traders?
It would be all horrible people.
That would be a wreck, a train wreck of a season, though. They wouldn't be able to do it at the castle.
All liars, people who love to accuse other people of things that aren't true.
They wouldn't be able to do it at the castle for liability purposes.
That's actually what Lydia said about Kim. She said, you know your daughter before you make accusations like that.
Well, because, that's like a big thing to say that, oh, Zac wasn't listening to Lydia and was just forcing her into these wedding decisions. And it's like, no, that's not even true. So, again, truth-telling of that is not what happened, but that's what Kim said to all of Lydia's siblings to get them riled up about how, this isn't the right guy for Lydia.
I think the Plaths don't realize, too, that through what they've done, they've actually brought Zac and Lydia closer together because Lydia's realizing that she's only known Zac for, less than 12 months. And he knows her better than these people who she's lived her entire life with. Inside
and out now. Literally. But also we learned Lydia's a freaky bitch. She's a pony in the streets and a Clydesdale in the sheets.
Yes, she is.
She is a different Lydia after 10 p.m. That's what's going on. That's stuff to keep in mind.
I didn't really need to know that about her.
I kind of assumed she had that Martha Stewart vibe about her. It's the people pleasing too. She goes the extra mile.
Wait till she can break free.
Yeah, I think those are all elements here. Factors for consideration or something.
Well, after the break, we're going to get into what happened when they finally had this confrontation.
It goes about as well as you'd expect, is what it comes down to.
For the Plath family?
Yeah, because once everybody's rolling up and Lydia and Zac have like their final moment in the car where it's like, okay, we're going to be okay. Like this is going to be good, I think.
They kind of had to psych each other up.
Yeah, like it was interesting to see because like you said, I think this is drawing them closer together. And that is going to be kind of the crux here because I think it was important that like to sit down at the table with everybody. Well, because at first they got out of the car, they were like all saying hi, they were giving hugs and stuff like that. And then Micah had to go over and like nudge Ethan and be like, hug your brother-in-law. That was weird to like call that out as like a separate thing where like forcing Ethan.
Ethan never makes the right decision on his own.
Yeah. Because he doesn't have Robin Brown as the moral compass in that family, unfortunately.
I think for all the faults that Micah has, we do see that he tries to be like the olive branch that no one else is capable of extending in this family because they're all so driven by their own egos.
He's the peacemaker is probably the role.
His family role.
Yeah, he would
probably
be
been
like,
doing that his whole life.
Yes. Yeah. So even if people are at odds, it's just he's going to be
the one to break the tension and bring it back together again.
Or at least attempt to. Yeah. In some way, shape, or form. But I don't know. With Ethan going over, I mean, he did hug Zac, but it was like kind of an angled, he didn't want their dicks to touch.
Hug.
Yeah. And like couldn't go crotch to crotch contact there. Like might get the gay on him. So yeah, it was just, that was the concern, I guess. He's still kind of treating him like he's radioactive in some ways.
Oh, I totally believe that Ethan still thinks that Zac's gay.
If you touch your butthole more than 3 times a day, that's how the gay gets in. which is what we've theorized is that's why Ethan does not wash his butt, and that's probably why he smells really bad. We've talked about that multiple times on the Discord. It's come up.
Okay, I was laughing at Ken, who was told that he couldn't join the conversation because it's a family conversation. And then he was like, nah, it's cool because like I don't like drama. I try to stay out of drama.
To be honest, I'd rather just stay inside and listen to Van Halen. So that's fine.
Sell some artifacts on eBay. That's what he's busy doing. But he's peering out the window, watching them as they're all interacting in the driveway.
So that was weird. Yeah.
Like you nosy bitch.
Maybe KK Ken is a messy bitch.
I think he is. I think he is. Yeah, he says he's not here for the drama. He's heard both sides. He doesn't need to sit in on the conversation. I kind of think that like one of the reasons why Kim was motivated to bring KK Ken back into the fold is because they need somebody on the show who people can talk about who is in some ways worse than some of the Plath family members.
He's a lightning rod for the audience to just not want to cancel Plathville as a whole, but just get Ken off the show.
Yeah. I think she feels like, if there's a scale of like who's worse, that she can kind of tip it towards KK Ken.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll forget some of the other stuff about her family.
Well, it was weird, too, because she was like, oh, yeah, we broke up for a little bit after Lydia's wedding. And then after the divorce was finalized, then we realized, might as well give this thing a shot. I think we'd rather stick together. Sure.
I'm shocked that Lydia was okay with him coming to the wedding.
Yeah.
Not only because they were broken up, but because I don't think she ever liked him. Because they dated while her parents were still technically married.
Yeah.
And the whole weirdness of him being a family friend who knew them while,
maybe that's
the parents
why
were together.
He got an invite as Isaac's flight instructor, not as
he was not Kim's plus one.
Maybe that was the loophole that we weren't expecting for that.
So they all sit down and Lydia speaks first. And
I didn't
I'm conflicted.
like it. I didn't like the start
about how she starts it because she's like, well, let me own up to my piece of this, which
No!
is that I kind of pressured you guys to get to know Zac very quickly because of how fast we went from being engaged to being married.
Yeah, okay.
So that's on me.
But I think that's not an unreasonable thing to ask. To say, hey, I am marrying this guy. Get to know him in the amount of time that we have. Because it wouldn't have mattered if it was 4 months or 4 years before they got married. I think the same level of effort would have been put in.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what we saw.
Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying because still would have been very fast. But if you're so concerned about him and his character, then why didn't you take the time that you had together to get to know him and ask him valid questions instead of things like, is he gay?
Right. Grill him better than you did. Like, if you really wanted to get to the root of this, that was not the real concern. And to say that that was your concern for Lydia, no, that was your own personal concern that you were going to be, wronged by this in some way, or that this would
embarrass your family.
Yeah, whatever that would be. So it's just like, I think that those are the other parts of it too. Because with Lydia talking, I was okay with Lydia doing most of the talking. Because Zac wasn't really speaking up. Because that was kind of part of the accusation, right? Is that it's like, oh, Lydia doesn't get to say stuff. Mm-hmm. Zac speaks for her. Even though that really seems to be your guys' kind of approach to that. I'm sure that was everything that Micah and Ethan and Isaac were all about, speaking for their women. Yeah. And keeping them in line based on their opinions.
And it wasn't even what we saw, because there were many episodes where Zac seemed frustrated because Lydia would cut him off and start talking.
So many times. So many times that happened.
And it was something that they had to work on because she would interrupt him a lot.
Yes, that she was speaking for him. Yes. That was the issue that he was having. And we saw that multiple times on camera. So it's in direct opposition to the claim that's being stated here.
Also, again, to bring it back to Ethan and Olivia, it used to be the opposite in their relationship where Olivia would do a lot of the talking because Ethan was too scared to be the one to confront his family.
He would shut down.
So she had to be the one who did most of the speaking. And all that did was gain more resentment towards her. Yeah. So that wasn't a winning approach. Mm-mm. So I think it's good that Lydia's the one who's talking.
It's good that she's doing most of the addressing here. I wish we could have stated of hey, this isn't something, I'm not looking for apologies or setting anything up like that. She could have said something like that to kind of break the tension. It was a lot of Lydia talking. She just kept going for a little bit there because nobody else is saying anything. Yeah. So that was weird.
Well, it was awkward when she started crying. She's getting emotional as she's talking about it. No one gets up to hug her. Nobody starts to say, I'm sorry. I feel so bad that, this affected you guys in the way that it did. Everybody just kind of stares off into the distance because they're so uncomfortable with somebody expressing their emotion.
Yeah, and then it's oh, now that Lydia's crying about this, she's the irrational one in this scenario. Because she's out of control with her emotions. And it's no, that's not it. That ain't it. But she's expressing, hey, the night before our wedding, that was the worst night of my life.
It was supposed to be this joyful experience of us all celebrating my last night as a Plath. Yes. And instead, I have this horrible memory of you guys cornering me and telling me how much you don't like my husband.
Yeah. So
and trying to stop my wedding.
Not good. Yeah, not good. So at this point, this is where it's Micah's chiming in, where he does apologize very quickly of, I am so sorry about. Yes. I'm so sorry about, making you feel like that. And I wish that things could have been different. Looking back on it now, Zac, I can see you are a great guy. You guys are a great couple. So he was very complimentary. There was a lot of nice things being said.
Yeah, but I was disappointed that he was the first one to speak because if you go back to what happened, I feel like he was the least involved of everybody.
I know. And then
he was the one who got punched in the face.
He got punched. But that wasn't about Lydia's wedding, though. that was about Veronica, which he kind of blames, hey, sorry, I wasn't even really that involved or available to get to know you because I was dealing with a lot of crazy stuff with Veronica. So he's offloading this. He's going to dump this on, oh, yeah, Veronica kept me from getting to know you. Sorry about that.
And
Wish
was
I could
also
have.
responsible for some of his behavior as far as like not being super involved in the wedding. Like he
Yes.
kept walking away
Right.
and having to come back.
He didn't know fully what was going on with a lot of the different scenarios or whatever because
But he was not even there
split.
that night before the wedding, right? Because I
don't know.
I thought that he and Veronica were not there.
It didn't sound like
I could be not remembering that correctly.
It might have been Ethan. Well,
because it was definitely
remember.
Ethan and Isaac.
Definitely Ethan and Isaac and Kim and Barry.
Yeah. Well, Barry was brought by Lydia.
Yes.
Because she must have sensed
something was
that
off.
Something was off.
Yeah,
that the conversation was probably not going to be that she needed somebody in her camp.
Yeah, something's going on. So, and Micah, like there were some moments too where it was, you know, Lydia even kind of had accepted Micah's apology and was like, "Hey, at least we danced and stuff." Like we had some moments.
She can't
kick
that habit.
She had to find that positive thing of like, yeah, we did, you know, like we were able to. I don't know if she can say the same thing about Ethan or Isaac. Like, I don't know what was happening with all that. Like, if that was Ethan was supposed to be sitting at the table right in front of them at the wedding of it was like right in front of the bridal party that was supposed to be up there. But then Micah and Veronica were supposed to be sitting at that table too, and Veronica and Tegan were not getting along. So they didn't. There was just an empty table for the most part.
Because they all tried to avoid sitting there.
Yeah. So then, like, I think that had an impact, even though she didn't call that out directly. Like, that was something that was, she talked about it on the wedding day. She was talking about it to the
because it was
cameras.
right in front of her.
It's right there. Yeah. So it's just like, ugh.
Also, Ethan was very obviously angry.
Yeah.
He
whole time.
Angry the day that they set up for the wedding. He was angry that night that they confronted her. He was angry still the next day. Like he was disturbing.
Yeah. The only thing he apologized for was, I'm sorry for hurting you.
Yeah.
Like, not for his behavior, for his actions.
I'm sorry for acting like an animal and throwing all your tables when we were setting up. I'm sorry for driving like a maniac and almost, running over one of your guests.
Yeah. Or several, people in the field in my Dukes of Hazzard car.
I'm sorry for, insisting that Zac is gay.
And not letting that go and not taking him at his word when he's telling me that that's not the reason why he's not kissing Lydia. It's out of respect for Lydia.
Sorry for calling him a bastard.
Well, the bastard does look good in blue.
Like, all of the horribly offensive things that he did, like, he had a lot to apologize for.
A lot.
That he didn't.
He didn't.
I don't like that they don't really take ownership of their actions.
No.
Like, they just give a general blanket apology, but they don't say specifically what they did wrong.
Well, and then also it's displacing it too, because Micah wasn't there because of Veronica. Isaac was all out of sorts because Olivia messed him up, where he was apprehensive towards people joining the family too fast. Okay, well, that's a you problem. Like, that's a you issue that you're freaking out about. And then also, get to know the guy.
Right.
Get to know him. Why didn't you do that? There was no effort that was put into this. Also, it's been 8 months since the wedding. Still no effort. Still no effort to get to know.
You guys were so worried that you really went out of your way to spend time with them afterwards, huh?
To check, and like, how are things going?
Make sure she's okay.
Make sure she's okay. No, it was none of that, because then that was Kim's whole thing too. Well, it doesn't matter, because as soon as you guys said I do, we're on board. You guys are part of the family now. Doesn't seem like it.
Okay, I hated that.
Yeah, because that's bullshit.
Yeah, no, the way she put it was even weirder.
Once you're married, it's done.
It was done. No, that's not how that works.
No.
That's not how that works, where everything that you did up until that point then gets erased.
Yeah.
Because now this is an irreversible decision in your mind. So now you're going to act like you're supportive.
Right.
How is that supposed to make Zac feel? Because he knows that up until the moment that they said, I do, you guys were not supportive of it.
Right.
And we're
so magically
trying to stop it.
Yeah. To just flip a switch and say, oh, well, that's it now. So now we completely support you 100%. That doesn't match up with the actions.
No, and
how
are you showing someone that they're accepted?
Right.
Other than just saying, well, you're my son-in-law now, so I accept you.
Yeah, because I think that's the main difference. I wish they would have held them to task on that a little bit more, because that is something to easily point to and say, in the last 8 months, haven't seen that, haven't felt that.
I didn't feel like anybody was embarrassed of their behavior.
No. And they're justifying. They're justifying. They were explaining, reasoning away, not taking responsibility.
It's just because we care for you. That's why we did all those things, because we care for you.
Again,
Lydia.
tying it back to, we were doing all these hurtful things because we love you. That's abuse. That's abusive.
So Barry's looking around and he's like, got his feet kicked up because he doesn't have an apology to give here.
And the popcorn. Yeah.
The popcorn. He's also seeing what Kim has said is not really going over very well with Lydia. She definitely left more to be desired. And there's some deeper rooted issues between them that still need to be worked out.
Well, and Barry was saying, even this goes further back than just the wedding too, because Lydia still has hurt feelings from the divorce, Kim and Barry's divorce, and how that split went. So like, there's still unresolved issues. Go figure. All the way back there. I would say there's probably some more behind that too, if we kept digging a little bit more. But be careful pulling at that thread, because, oh my God, yeah, there's going to be an avalanche of shit that just happens from this.
Yeah, I'm worried too about Zac, because Zac's also pointing out that he knows that there's stuff between Lydia and Kim that he's seen Lydia cry a lot of tears over, and he wants there to be reconciliation there.
Yes.
Danger. Bad road to go down.
This is dangerous. Yeah.
Kim is not a person who will ever admit to any of her faults. She will not take accountability for the things that she's done to hurt other people, at least not fully.
Yeah. Or flip it back on you as the reason why, or some other reason, whatever the reason was, but she has a reason for why you deserved to be treated the way that you were. Always. For everything.
We saw how that worked out when the older kids tried to confront her about their education and just generally like the way they were raised in their childhood. And she still like never really gave a great apology to any of them.
I think she tried with Ethan, but that was when Ethan was no contact with her.
Yeah.
And
she was just trying to get him to talk to her.
She was just trying to get him to, sit down with her was like the main goal. She's
a toxic human being.
Yeah.
And I think you're just opening a can of worms.
The scary part is because it's like Zac doesn't know. So for him, he's like, oh, you need to reconcile with your mom. So he's then encouraging Lydia to like embark on this and like, yeah, do that, like I'll support you in that.
Express yourself more.
No.
Not with her.
Not with her. So he doesn't know they're playing with fire right now, too. This is dangerous because
who does know? Barry.
Oh, Barry knows. Yeah. Well, I'm saying like with like for Zac, I think his intentions and like the encouragement, it comes from a good place because he doesn't know the dangers that are there.
And I think that he has a much better relationship with his family, it seems.
He's viewing this as like, if I were in this instance and my relationship looked like this with my mom, this is what I would be doing. Kim is not your mom. Heads up.
You're lucky. You're lucky Kim's not your mom.
Count your lucky stars. Kim's not your mom. But like, you are dealing with a totally different beast here. Literally. So just... You cannot expect to have the same interactions that you would with a normal human being.
Yeah. No, and she was getting shitty too when Lydia was giving more kudos to Barry for being so supportive and
thanking him. And then what's the response to that? Not, oh, that was Lydia expressing her gratitude towards Barry for the support. No, Kim immediately clocks it as, yeah, that was a dig at me.
Mm-hmm.
No, it
Also,
wasn't.
she's always in competition with another person.
Yes, and it's just like, you can't even grasp the concept. I don't think Kim's ever given a compliment or anything like that without an ulterior motive. The only reason why she would say thank you to somebody is to make somebody else upset. So that's why she's saying,
she assumes that that's why Lydia's doing it.
That's why it's to make me feel bad. No.
And she's like, where's my praise? I mean, I'm the one who was worried about who she's going to spend the rest of her life with. Barry was just ready to give his approval to anybody.
Okay.
I don't get the credit that I deserve.
No. No to all of that. No. So wrong. It was just so wrong. Everything's about Kim. It's all back to her, where it's just, oh, now Lydia, even while voicing her opinions, Kim has no capacity for understanding. Lydia has her emotions and her experience and everything that went into that. And it wasn't good. And a lot of it was because of the things that you did or didn't do as part of this leading up to the wedding.
Mm-hmm. I think Lydia feels really betrayed too, because Kim was acting supportive to her face. And then behind her back was kind of egging the boys on to continue to raise their concerns about Zac to her so that she didn't have to be the one to do it.
Right. Yeah. Like she was agreeing with Ethan and Isaac more so.
Mm-hmm.
Micah kind of.
And then she's giving asides, confessional stuff to the camera about things that she thinks about their relationship, but she didn't voice that stuff to Lydia.
Not directly. Yeah. It was all through those other channels there, which she was even saying too, oh, I hope Ethan's not too angry coming into this conversation. It's like, well, no, he's depressed now because he's single again. So if we would have had...
never had a conversation with him in the last 8 months about how he acted at the wedding?
No, I guess not.
His anger and the fact that needs to be addressed.
Clearly not.
That was inappropriate?
Nope.
No.
Definitely not. No, because...
And that you better not show up acting here like that again?
No, because at the time, she was ecstatic about that. That was exactly what she wanted. She was getting him all riled up so that he would act out and lash out and do all of these things. That was to her benefit. That was part of the plan. So, like, it was gross. It was gross to see it. Also gross, though, Barry gloating. Like, because this dude, you could have just taken the compliment and been like, yeah, I mean, I support you, and I'm happy for you guys, and I'm glad it's really worked out. Leave it at that.
No, I could just tell. He was a good guy. Just like the devil in the suit and tie, who I had a lot of great things to say about.
Because Barry is such a great read on everybody, top notch, judge a character.
Right.
Because
Olivia had character type problems.
Yeah, Olivia had character type flaws and blind spots.
He loved Veronica.
Loved Veronica at first.
Yes.
And then changed his mind. And then same with, Mariah's devil in the suit and tie boyfriend, where he was the best guy. Mm-hmm. So great. Awesome.
Who had a whole baby mom on the side.
Then evil. And then great again. So
let's not brag.
Let's not pat ourselves on the back too hard here, Barry Plath. Please.
I love this show because I hate these people so much.
This show.
I'm glad we have Lydia and Zac to root for, though.
Yes.
Because it was getting tough last season, right? Where
we were
Olivia backed away from filming.
Right.
And then who did we have?
Veronica, kind of.
No, but then Veronica turned.
Not to root for. Yeah, but it's just like we were rooting her on to...
Destroy them
as much as she could.
Expose them.
Yeah, to call stuff out. I just want people calling stuff out. So Lydia is calling stuff out. And she's in the right on all of this stuff. So they don't have any rebuttals here. All they can do is deflect. And they're running out of excuses because are we going to blame it on Mariah? She's all the way in Montana. I haven't talked to her in 8 months. It's going to be really hard to
go back to the old scapegoat.
To pin this back on the baby bird again. This is going to be really tough.
I'm very excited for this season. I cannot wait for the the buddy comedy that's going to be Zac and Barry.
We're going to have to call out how many segments on this show we've seen on other TLC shows, though. Are they going to do one of those, what was that, the bungee exercise things? That's what I'm waiting for, too. Because if that comes up, pack it up. Like, I don't even know. Because they're doing the sauna. They're doing sauna.
Which we saw in Seven Little Johnstons.
And there was something else that we just saw where somebody did sauna, and we were like, this is, so old now as far as like the thing. They did this years ago on Seven Little Johnstons. But
get with the times.
Yeah, I mean, it's only a matter of time.
Which, if you're listening and you need something else to move on to after this, because this is the end of the episode,
Seven Little Johnstons.
We have a Seven Little Johnstons watch guide over on our Patreon. You can take a look at that, even if you're not a member. And it's got 10 or so episodes that you can easily get caught up on the drama that's been going on that show. We're on season 17 now.
Because for some people, it's a lot to try and say, hey, catch up on 16 seasons. I get it.
I'm telling you, you will watch those episodes and you will be so compelled to find out what else has happened that you will go back and start from the beginning.
You're going to love it. You're going to love it. Definitely.
Another terrible mother and toxic family on TLC.
Yeah, if you're watching Plathville, you got to get on Seven Little Johnstons. Definitely.
Also, if you are enjoying what you're listening to, leave us a review.
It helps the podcast, especially the written ones with the words. When you type the words, man, the algorithm really likes that.
Nice words, please.
Nice words and good words. Good, positive things are very good. I'd really appreciate it because I miss my boobly wooblies up in Wisconsin.
Thanks for listening. See you next time.